By the way, if you want to learn more about ClickUp, I got a lot of free different ClickUp resources that I put together for you down below in the description to this video. They're absolutely free, so feel free to check them out. And with that said, we're gonna get back to our topic of this video. So in this class, we will be diving a little bit deeper into ClickUp Chats. This is a very basic feature. It was actually added, I think, a year ago, and it potentially can replace like any communication tool that you're using inside your company. If you're already using ClickUp for project management, again, why not also bring all the communication inside the tool as well? So this is how chat was kind of appeared in ClickUp and the main idea behind it. And in this video, let's just dive deeper and understand how we can use this and all the pieces and components of the chat feature in ClickUp. So chat in ClickUp, again, as I said, is just as simple as it is basically communicating with your team members. So if you're using right now Slack, maybe you're using emails, maybe you're using text messages, maybe you're using a different messaging tool like WhatsApp, whatever you're using to communicate and text with each other can be done basically here in ClickUp. Just makes it a little bit easier because you already have your tasks and your kind of project management inside the tool, so you can also keep communication here as well. The chat feature can be accessed either from the home screen, so you can see channels appearing when you click on the home. If you scroll down, right, you're gonna find the channels here at the bottom and also direct messages. So both relate to the chat feature, which basically allows you to communicate with each other. The chat over here on the left-hand side looks somewhat different. And again, it just prioritizes things that were kind of your latest conversation. So if you posted something in the operations channel, that channel is gonna pop up at the very top. This looks a little bit messy, if I'm honest with you. I prefer to use the home screen. This one kind of keeps the structure the same all the time, so I can easily find the channels or direct messages with my team right from here. Important thing to mention here, it's just as simple as it gets. Direct messages, you send message one-on-one with someone. Channels, you invite multiple people to communicate on a specific subject or a specific matter. So when you're creating a direct message, you just need to simply click on the plus button. And if you've never chatted with that person before, even if they're a member of your ClickUp, you just simply need to find them in the list of your members or your guests and click on that person, send him or her the first message. That's going to start the direct message conversation. If you want to create a channel, you can simply create a plus button for the channel. You can create that channel, give it a name, whatever the name is, and you can make this channel private so that only you can have access to the channel and whoever you're inviting to that channel, right? If you're not making this channel private, what happens is all your team members are going to see that channel inside their home screen in the channel section over here. So just be mindful of that. If it is some conversation like a leadership only or project managers only or kind of a confidential information for accounting purposes, you might want to keep that conversation private and that channel private as well. So whenever you're adding this, be mindful of that. You can also add a list. So what this does, and it's an interesting concept in ClickUp, is whenever you're using channels, right? You can create either channel, just a separate channel, just a regular channel like you would do in Slack, or you can link that channel to a specific location in your ClickUp. So you can basically create a channel for a list. If I'm, for example, want to create a channel where we will discuss all the admin tasks, I can create that channel under the list. If you can see, I click on the list. On the left-hand side, you can see add channel. I can click the button, it's gonna create the list. If I wanted to create a channel on the folder, right? Let's say one folder represents a project and I want to have channel for each project, I would probably create a channel for every single folder that I have. Click add channel, it's gonna add that channel over here. The real difference is whenever you're creating a folder, a channel, again, that is just a separate channel, it doesn't have to have a location, right? So you don't have to have like a separate list, a separate folder. You can just create whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. When you're creating something that's specific to a folder, again, the conversations that are probably happening here will have to be related to that specific location or whatever tasks you're storing in that space, folder, or list. So that's really the only difference between creating just regular channels and channels related to a specific location. So this is basically the way you do this in operate. So let me just open one of the channels here, right? Obviously, this looks absolutely the same way as you have in the direct messages. You can send messages, you can mention people, you can do whatever you want to do. The same functionalities apply as you have in the comments inside the task. You can click on the / excuse me, let me just type in. You can click on the / and have all the different formatting options that you see over here. So again, different headings, different embeddings, different advanced blocks. So all those things are applicable in the ClickUp Chat as well. You can mention people, you can assign people to these messages, you can record video clips, which we're going to cover a little bit later, audio clips, and again, you can add new documents here. So you can do all this kind of things from within your channels and your direct messages. The functionality is very similar as you have in the comments. The same thing happens in here. Now, important thing, whenever you're creating, so for example, let me open a website, let me just call marketing, right? Marketing is a simple single channel, so it's not related to any location. So this is why here at the top, you only see a channel, right? You don't see any other things like any other type of views inside that channel. If you open, for example, operations here, just because this was linked as part of the folder, there is a quick and easy way to see all the things inside that folder. You can just simply switch kind of a view inside that chat. So you can see over here, again, this is the board view, this is the list view. You can even create new views inside the chat, which kind of sounds a little bit weird, but basically what you're looking at the operations folder. You're just looking at the channel view of that folder. So this is the difference, the main difference when you're creating the view or channel between adding it to a list or it's a specific location or creating this as a standalone chat. So if you're creating this as part of the location, you also have a very quick access to the tasks inside that location. You obviously can also favorite this view. So if I were to go to my marketing channel, you can make this view favorite. And again, it pops up in the favorite section, just as we discussed in the home section of this course. Here on the right-hand side, you have a couple of things for creating a syncup, which is basically like an audio conversation with your team. So again, if you used Slack before, it's the same thing here. You just can basically have a quick audio call or even a video call, because you can turn on video as well. And again, just have a quick discussion with your team from inside the chat, right? You can also create agents from here. We have not yet covered this, and we'll kind of leave this to the ClickUp AI section of this course. So I'm not going to dive in detail here, but you can see you can have different automations that are like recurring channel messages. And when you click on manage channel automations, again, the same applies if you remember, as we discussed in the list level and folder level and space level automations. Very similar thing applies here. It's just that you have very limited triggers because they're specific to the chat. So here you can either you can trigger by messages posted. So whenever someone sends a message, you do this action, right? And the actions are listed here. You either trigger a super agent, you send a direct message, you send a channel message, you call a webhook, which is again triggering a more complex automation in other platforms that is again a little bit more advanced, but you can use it with Zapier or Make.com. And again, you can basically create a very simple automation for your chat if you find it helpful, right? Again, it's quite limited because it's only related to chat features. So the triggers and actions are limited, but the overall idea and concept of automation remains the same here. Obviously, you can also share this with multiple people. So again, the same thing, inviting people to the channel works the same way as inviting people to different lists or folders inside your ClickUp. So you can simply like click on add people and you can find your team members in this list. You can search by name, you can type in and say, add them as follower to this channel, which means they're basically become part of this channel and can communicate with you here. The same here on the sidebar. Again, you can search through different messages. You can find all the replies inside that chat. You can find the messages assigned to you or comments assigned to you inside this channel, as well as you can click on the settings, which is basically allows you to describe what this channel is all about, add a little description, and again, trigger the sync up session from here as well. I rarely use the settings, if I'm honest with you, but again, if you want to find like an overview or settings for the channel to change something, you can definitely do it from here. Again, accessing syncup, you can do this from the top right corner over here. Finding all the attachments, which might be helpful actually when you're attaching files here. You can find all of them right here under the settings in here. All right, and there are a bunch of other settings which are basic, right? Making these channel favorite, as we already discussed, emailing to channel, which again, we already reviewed this as part of the list. If you remember when we were sending emails to the list in ClickUp, this works absolutely the same way. You can click on it, copy the email address, and then whenever you're sending an email to that address, the message is going to pop up in the channel. And then you obviously can delete the channel or unfollow the channel if you don't wish to receive notifications inside your ClickUp chat. The other and last part that I will mention is you can also import conversations from Slack. And if you click on that button, it's going to walk you through the steps of how to do this. You can either upload this discussion, so you can use API with Slack, which you will need to provide your credentials inside here and basically sign into your Slack. It's going to pick up all the conversations and it's going to import them into chat in ClickUp. So again, that probably might take a while because again, depends on how much information you have in Slack, but that's basically it for the ClickUp Chat feature. So again, if you are thinking about using it, you can easily start using it with whoever already has access to ClickUp. Also, the important thing to mention is that ClickUp chats can be used with free guests and free limited members. So if you're inviting someone to your ClickUp account, and we will review permissions a little bit later in this course, I think it's like next or after that lesson. But when you're inviting someone who can only see tasks and cannot edit tasks, which is called view only access, those people you're not paying for. So those are free seats. You can basically have unlimited number of people who have view only access, right? And who are added as guests or limited members. And with those people, you can communicate in chat. So even though they are not paying for them, you can still use the chat feature to communicate with them. And again, this is as it works right now. Maybe that changes in the future, but whenever you're adding someone as a guest or a free limited member, you can try to find them. Again, if you cannot, probably they remove this part, but as of now, you can add free guests and communicate with free guests and free limited members inside the chat feature as well, which is pretty cool because you can add your clients, your suppliers, your vendors in here that you don't have to pay for them, but you can easily communicate with them. So that's kind of the whole point around the chat feature and keeping your communication inside ClickUp as well. The last thing that, and again, I mentioned this last thing multiple times, but I just wanted to say about AI because we will cover this at the end of this course as well. You can also use this communication and use this information that you have in ClickUp to analyze by AI. So this is kind of an advantage of keeping these things in one place. In ClickUp, if you're communicating in a channel, inside direct messages, again, you can easily use this Ask AI ClickUp Brain to analyze that information, give you some feedback, provide you with answers, or help you, like answer some specific questions. So again, that's kind of one of the benefits of using these communications here. So that's basically it for the ClickUp Chat feature. So I hope this was helpful, kind of explain to you a little bit better the functionality and how you can use it. And with that said, we're going to be moving on to the next part, which is going to be teams and permissions, understanding what are all the different types of permissions, who do you pay for, who are free, and how to use all of them in your ClickUp.